the appearance of the smoke. Allah says in the Quran, فَارْتَقِبْ يَوْمَ تَأْتِي السَّمَاءُ بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ يَغْشَى النَّاسَ هَذَا عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Then watch for the day when the sky will bring a visible smoke, covering the people. This is a painful torment. And a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, بَادِرُوا بِالْأَعْمَالِ سِتًّا. He mentioned ad-Dajjal wa ad-Dukhan. Hasten to do good deeds. He mentioned among the signs, before 6 happened, ad-Dajjal, and he mentioned ad-Dukhan. This smoke. This smoke will be something tremendous. Smoke beyond what we can explain. And it will affect the believer in a manner different than the way it will affect the disbeliever. The disbeliever, it will go on him, and it will affect him in every hole in his body. Whereas the believer will be like a cold for him. So there will be this humongous smoke that will come at the end of time. Afterwards, the rising of the sun in the west. The rising of the sun in the west. Now, we have an ayah from the book of Allah. In Surah Al-An'am, Allah says, هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا أَن تَأْتِيَهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَوْ يَأْتِيَ رَبُّكَ أَوْ يَأْتِيَ بَعْضُ آيَاتِ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَ يَأْتِي بَعْضُ آيَاتِ رَبِّكَ لَا يَنْفَعُ نَفْسًا إِيمَانُهَا لَمْ تَكُنْ آمَنَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَوْ كَسَبَتْ فِي إِيمَانِهَا خَيْرًا قُلْ انْتَظِرُوا إِنَّا مُنْتَظِرُونَ. Are they waiting to see if the angels come to them, or the Lord Himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself, or certain of the signs of your Lord? The day when the signs of your Lord will come, no good will it do a soul to believe in them, had it not believed before or earned righteousness through this faith. So say, wait, we too are waiting. So the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri says, the day that certain of the signs of thy Lord shall come, or your Lord will come, it's an odd translation, no good will it do the soul to believe in them, referring to the rising of the sun from the west. So the Prophet ﷺ explained that this ayah is referring to the sun rising from the west. When the people see it, they would want to believe. Why? Because it becomes aynul yaqeen. Not ilmul yaqeen, it becomes aynul yaqeen. They can see it with their eyes, and they will know that this is from Allah, because they're used to the sun coming from where it comes. They will want to believe. Allah says it will not benefit a soul to believe, had it not been a believer before or earned righteousness in its belief. So that will be what we would call nowadays too late. It will be too late. When that happens, it will simply be too late. Number 8, the beast of the earth. The beast of the earth. This is the first one. Let me tell you more about this beast. Among the signs of the hour will be the emergence of the beast from the earth. It will be very strange in appearance. Some of the ulama say it is none but the jassasa, which was with ad-Dajjal. Some of them say it will be like the naqa and the camel of Salih alayhi salatu wasalam. And the scholars have differed about it. But anyway, some of the narrations mention it's something that is beyond our imagination. It will emerge from the earth and shake the dust from its head. It will try to run away, but the people who try to run away, they will not be able to escape, because such will be the decree of Allah. It will destroy the nose of every disbeliever with the rod. It will destroy the nose of every disbeliever with the rod and write the word kafir on his forehead. It will adorn the face of every believer and write the word Muslim on his forehead, and it will speak to the people. Allah said, وَإِذْ وَقَعَ الْقَوْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَخْرَجْنَا لَهُمْ دَابَّةً مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ تُكَلِّمُهُمْ أَنَّ النَّاسَ كَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا لَا يُقِنُونَ. And when the word is fulfilled against them, the unjust that is, we shall produce from the earth a beast to face them. It will speak to them, telling them, people used to have no certainty in the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas, Al-Hasan and Qatada said, it will speak to them, it means it will address them. Ibn Jarir suggested that the meaning that the beast will address them with the words, for that mankind did not believe with assurance in our signs. So some of them say that kalam, or تكلمهم meaning تكلمهم. They have a different way of reading it, meaning either it will stamp their noses as we mentioned, or it will speak to them directly. So the ulama say it will do both. It will do that. It will stamp on the nose of the disbeliever and with the rod, and on the forehead of the believer as a Muslim, and it will speak to the people. The beast will speak to the people. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, the beast of the earth will emerge, and it will have with it the rod of Moses and the ring of Solomon. It will also, he was also reported that he said, ﷺ, the beast will destroy the noses of the unbelievers with the ring. It will destroy the noses of the unbelievers with the ring, so that the people seated around one table will begin to address one another with the words, O believer, O unbeliever. Because it will become evident who is the believer. He will have a Muslim on his forehead, and the disbeliever, his nose will be distorted and destroyed by the dabba. So then, this will be towards the end of time. Lastly, the fire which will bring the people to the mahshar. The fire which will bring the people to the mahshar. In hadith Hudayfa and Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَآخِرُ ذَلِكَ نَارٌ تَخْرُجُ مِنَ الْيَمَنِ تَطْرُدُ النَّاسَ إِلَى مَحْشَرِهِمْ. And at the end there shall come a fire which will come out of Yemen, and it will force the people to go to the place of their assembly. Now this is not the assembly after Qiyamah. This is before the end. This is the first one, not the one after the horn is blown and then the people are resurrected. That is different. Where would that be? In Sham. In the land of Sham. So the land of Sham is blessed, by the way. Specifically towards the end of time. First the Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma barik lana fi Shamina. Oh Allah, bless our Sham. Secondly, he said ﷺ, Iman, at the end of time, Iman will be in the land of Sham. Iman and some Amin. Security and faith will be in the land of Sham. From there many of the prophets came, as you all know. And from there a lot of the events will happen. The coming of Jesus, the killing of the Dajjal, the fight against them, all of these will happen in the land of Sham. The Sham today is Lebanon, Syria, Palestine and Jordan, or parts of it. So they've divided us obviously, but that is the land of Sham. So the Prophet ﷺ said in one of the hadith of Ibn Umar and Mussab of Imam Ahmad, عَلَيْكُمْ بِالشَّامِ. Upon you is the Sham. Upon you is the Sham. In another hadith said, عَلَيْكَ بِالشَّامِ فَإِنَّ خِيرَةُ اللَّهِ فِي أَرْضِهِ. أو مِنْ أَرْضِ عَفْوًا. He said to one man who asked him about what should I do at the end of time? He said, upon you is the Sham. It is the best land from the lands of Allah. So those who are living in countries of corruption and evil, think twice. Because if you take this home or these lands as your residence, chances are your children will remain there for generations. Chances are when the Dajjal comes around and all this, they will not be in an area of protection. And it's a major fitna. So we have to also situate ourselves and think in the long run, the areas in which we want to reside, so we may be in places of protection, because we said we are towards the end of time. So Mecca, Medina, Sham, these are blessed lands. Now, Los Angeles, New York, Birmingham, or London, I'm not going to tell you these are blessed lands. We can use many other adjectives to describe them, but you know what I'm aiming at. So this is a call for the brothers and sisters in Islam to think seriously about where they live, and to realize the effect this has on their Iman, on their Islam, on their relationship with Allah. It's not a joke. We hear many sad news about people apostating. Just today I received an email from a sister, who said that her brother apostated. And obviously when you're exposed to fitan, many people do so. So we have to be very careful. In conclusion, there are many other traditions which time doesn't allow to address, concerning the condition of people at the end of time. But generally speaking, there would be years of blessed times and vegetation and fruit where many people will eat from one fruit at the time of Isa and Mahdi, and there will be times of major distress and major tribulations, and the hour will only take place against the most evil of people. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, the preparation begins when? When does it begin? Now. For us, if we don't live to see this, your qiyamah, your last day is the last day you're alive. Once you die, khalas. You can no longer deal with these things, but you have to deal with what you are doing now. And for our children, our grandchildren, our progeny, our, the ones that will come, our descendants who will come after. If you're corrupt, it is very likely that your children and your generation which will come after you will be corrupt like you. Unless Allah wills otherwise. And if you are righteous, it is very likely that Allah Azza wa Jal will make them righteous. Don't believe me? Read Surah Al-Kahf. Read Surah Al-Kahf. The jidar which Al-Qadr constructed was because وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Their father was righteous. Allah sent him from Allah knows where to go and fix it, and so the treasure will be protected because their father was righteous. Some of the ulama, they say he was the 7th grandfather. The 7th grandfather made these children have their wealth protected by Al-Qadr, by the command of Allah, with Musa, because the 7th grandfather was righteous. So we have to work on our righteousness today. Because you don't want any of your family members to go through this fitna and come out a loser. Nor do you want them to enter the hellfire. So the objective is that we make a change in ourselves. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His beautiful names and absolute attributes to grant us success and to accept our deeds and to make Him sincere to His, for His pleasure and His countenance, and to make us among the righteous slaves. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.